Internal branding consists of activities and processes that help inform and inspire employees about brands. So, ang internal branding, it focuses on the company's core culture, iyang identity, and premise to its employees as well as its consumers. Then, ang tinuod nga representative sa internal branding kay ang iyang worker sa company and its values. Brand bonding occurs when customers experience the company as delivering on its brand promise. So, ang brand promise will not be delivered unless everyone in the company lives the brand. So, ang brand bonding, building a strong relationship between a brand and consumers in order to grow and retain custom. Principles for internal branding na siya'y upat ka buok. First, choose the right moment. You need to choose the right moment kaya of course in doing this, it will translate to the way your employees interact with your customer and stakeholders. Second, link in internal and external marketing. So, when having an internal branding, dapat imong internal and external messages must match. Kanang example ani kay ang Ford in which their branding, ang ilang tagline di ba kay go further. Then, the company believes that making internal branding efforts consistent with its external branding. So, unsay connect sa ani internally sa ilang company. Kay ilang company na three areas to help employees. So, imo din nilang motto dayon internally, di ba? Sa externally kay ilang tagline kay go further. So, internally, go further, people serving people. Third, bring the brand alive. Kini, dapat siya nag-start sa employees gyud. Example ani kay Starbucks, which is according sa akong research, ang Starbucks ilang employees kay trained well kaayo nila and kabalo mo market sa ilang product, which is gakakita jud nato nga sikat kayo ang Starbucks. So naagid bitaw siya kanang impact. The last one is keep it simple. Kani siya dapat don't overwhelm your employees with too many details. Focus lang sa important brand pillar, price, etc. Ayaw na kay kuan-kuan ni anang uban pa kay dili naman gyapon na mosulod sa ilahang utok tas musamot na noon og kalibog. Next is measuring brand equity. In measuring brand equity, na siya duha ka approach, indirect approach and direct approach. What is indirect approach? Assess potential sources of brand equity by identifying and tracking consumer brand knowledge structure. So, the sources of brand equity and how they affect the outcomes of interest. For this approach, brand audit is important. So, i-explain lang nako later sa sunod kay na siya sa sunod nga slide on saang brand audit. The second is the direct approach. Assess the actual impact of brand knowledge on consumer response to different aspects of marketing. So, how these sources and outcomes change it at all. So, for this approach, brand tracking is important. I-explain lang yapon ako unya unsa ang brand tracking. The next, the brand value chain. The brand value chain is a structured approach assessing to the sources and outcomes of brand equity and the way marketing activities create brand value. Diba na model, makita man nato kaning color green. Dayon na ay value stages, na ay marketing program investment, customer mindset, market performance, and shareholder value. Das na pa yun dayon sa ubos din niya ang kanang program quality, marketplace conditions, investor sentiment. Mo siya yung mga multipliers. The brand value chain helps marketers track brand value from the first stage of a marketing investment to the final stage of shareholder value. Then, ang brand value chain provide companies with a snapshot of the brand marketing's program, investment, and initiatives, and offers a structured means to understand where and how value is created, and more importantly, identify and target specific area which needs improvement. So nara ang brand audit ug ang brand tracking study. So brand audit is a focused series of procedures to assess the health of the brand, uncover its sources of brand equity, and suggest ways to improve and leverage its equity. So ang brand audit is a check-up that evaluates your brand's position in the marketplace. Example bitaw ani kay kanang sa SWOT analysis nga familiar sa ato tanan, in which it includes weaknesses, strength, weaknesses, threats and opportunities. So dapat sa brand audit ma-audit nimo unsa ang strength sa imong company, unsa iyang weaknesses, threats and opportunities. Then dapat ang brand audit kay maka-cover ani nga mga areas: brand value, mission, and company culture. Second, brand tracking studies. Use the brand audit as input to collect quantitative data from consumers over time, providing consistent baseline information about how brands and marketing programs are performing. So, kining brand tracking studies, it helps us understand where, how much, and in what ways brand value is being created to facilitate day-to-day decision making. So, unsay difference sa brand audit o brand tracking? Ang brand audit, gina-measure niya asa gikan ang brand. While ang brand tracking, gina-measure niya kung asa na ang brand, unsa na yung position sa market, whether marketing programs are having their intended effects. Next, why is brand worth? Top brand management firm Interbrand has developed a model to formally estimate the dollar of a brand. It defines brand value as the net present value of the future earnings that can be attributed to the brand alone. So, ang brand value kanang nganong need gyud ang brand worth? Why need siya i-audit, need siya i-track? So, ang brand value man god is important because when people perceive that a brand is distinct and aligns with their personal values, it's a really powerful competitive advantage. The brand value refers to the worth of a brand to the customer. So, di ba naman gani mga meticulous buyer bitaw nga kanang brand really matters. Di yun sila musugot anang kuan. So, ingana ka worth yun ang nagi-worth ang brand. The firm believes marketing and financial analysis are equally important in determining the value of a brand. Its process has 5 steps. So, ang first, market segmentation. Familiar naman kay guni sa tuas tanan. The first step to divide the market in which the brand is sold into mutually exclusive segments that helps determine variations among brands' different customer group. Example ani kay imong baligya kay pork og chicken, tas kato kay nay lugar nga puro Muslim. So, di ka magbaligya yun dito og pork, kay di man gyapon na dito mahalin. So, nga na, market segmentation. Second, financial analysis. Interbrand assess purchase price, volume, and frequency to help calculate accurate forecast of future brand sales and revenue. So, sa imuhang kuan, determining value of a brand, need gyapon nimo og financial analysis kay imuha gud nang i-forecast unsa pila imong revenues ani ana puhon. So, once it has established brand revenues, it deducts all associated operating costs to the earnings before interest and tax. It also deducts taxes and a charge for the capital employed to operate the underlying business, leaving the economic earnings that is the earnings attributed to the branded business. Third, role of branding. Interbrand next attribute a proportion of economic earnings to the brand in each market segment by first identifying the various drivers of demand and then determining the degree to which the brand directly influences each. The role of branding assessment is based on market research, client workshops, and interviews and represents the percentage of economic earnings of the brand generates, multiplying the role of branding by economic earnings. Also, in role of branding, dere nimo makita ang company name, logo, overall design that is really identifiable as the company itself. Always remember that your brand is the public face and personality of your company. Fourth is the brand strength. Interbrand then assess the brand strength profile to determine the likelihood that the brand will realize forecasted brand earnings. This step relies on competitive benchmark and a structured evaluation of the brand's clarity, commitment, protection, responsiveness, authenticity, relevance, differentiation, consistency, presence, and understanding. For each segment, Interbrand applies industry and brand equity metrics to determine a risk premium for the brand. Brand strength analysis describes efforts to determine the strength a brand has compared with its competitor. So kaning brand strength dapat imong brand gahi jud kayo kaysa sa uban nga kanang imong competitor. Example sa Starbucks, o di ba gahi king Starbucks compare sa uban nga kanang same sa ilaha og baligya. Next is the brand value calculation. To calculate brand value is the net present value of the forecasted earnings discounted by the brand discount rate. The net present value calculation is composed of both the forecasted period and the period beyond, reflecting the ability of brands to continue generating future earnings. Next is managing brand equity. So, na siya tulo ka kuan. Brand reinforcement, brand revitalization, and brand crisis. So, first is kaning explain ako ang kaning brand reinforcement. Marketers can reinforce brand equity by consistently conveying the brand's meaning in terms of what product it represents, what core benefit it supplies, and what needs it satisfy. So example kaani kay kanang this is a classic bitaw nga Nivea. So Nivea, which started off as skin cream, then expand into a wide range of skincare and personal care products. So di ba kay Nivea ra gyud to siya nga mao ra gyud to siya nga skin cream, nag-expand bitaw siya into skincare, then napagyud ayoy uban nga personal care product. So di ba ilang product nag-present na og both skincare and personal care. Then also ni-expand na sila sa ilang brand. Ni-expand na sad ilang brand, gi-reinforce nila ang men's beauty and with their men's range. So ingana ang brand reinforcement. Next is brand revitalization. A new development in the marketing environment can affect a brand's fortune. Nevertheless, a number of brands have managed to make impressive comeback in recent years. Kani bitaw siya kay kanang imong brand kay ga-decline kanang nag-decline na imong profit baga ka bankrupt na ka, tas mo din to nawala ka, tas after many years nadayoy comeback sa imong brand, sana all na comeback. Tas pag comeback sa imong brand kay dako dayon kayo bitaw siya impact, like na market expansion, product modification, or brand repositioning. Pareha ra gyud ng basta nag-comeback. Next is brand crisis. Kining brand crisis mao ni siya ang kanang nabitaw yung mga dili nimo inaasahan na mga pangyayari, mga uncertain events nga wa nimo gina-expect. So example ani kay kanang mga natural disasters like flooding, fires, etc. Then how to manage this? Unsa ni nimo pag-manage ang mga brand crisis? So first kanang assess the situation, assign duties, and communicate. Decide how to respond, get your message heard, measure the impact of your statements, know when to stop. Kung di na jud makaya nga, gabi na jud siya kakuan, gabi siya effect, then mag-stop na, stop. So, mo na siya ang tulong para ma-manage nimo imong brand equity. Next, devising a branding strategy. Nagyapon siya tulo ka kuan. So, a firm's branding strategy, often called its brand architecture. So first diri kay develop new brand elements. Kini siya, it includes logo sa imong brand, color palette, shape, tagline, fonts, imagery, and positioning. Example ani nga nag-change kay kanang kanang ang YouTube. 'Di ba sa una, ang YouTube is ang word nga YouTube, ang U kay naka-black, tas naka-black iyang font, tas iyahang tube kay naka-white font, tas red nga background. Sorry kung wala ko mapakita nga picture kay nahimo namang gudan akong pipitigod. Then karon ang YouTube nga logo kay naa bitaw ng icon nga murag mo play, makuan mangurutan na, makita mangurutanan kita ana kanang play nga white, tas naay red din siya nga background. Tas ang word dayon nga YouTube kay naka all black na siya nga font, tas sumpay na siya lahi atong sa una. So nganong nagilis ang YouTube? So according to the company, the new logo allows for a more flexible design that works better across a variety of devices, even on the tiniest screen. This is because when space is limited, for instance on smartphones, the brightened icon can be used as an abbreviated logo which can be seen more easily. So, katong icon nga murag mo play, makaingon din ka nga YouTube ni ana. Then second, apply existing brand elements. So example na ko ani balik kay ang YouTube. Kay yes, giusab sa YouTube ang ilahang kining logo. Pero naara gyapon sila yung mga gigamit nga daan nga elements. Ilan ang gi-emphasize og ayo, like ang daan nga color sa logo sa YouTube kay red, white and black. Sa new logo na present siya puning tulo ka colors. Then, third, use a combination of old and new. O, mao na niyang gibuhat sa YouTube. Gikombine nila ang daan ug ang bag-o. So, when firm uses established brand to introduce new product, the product is called brand extension. When marketers combine a new brand with existing brand, the brand extension can also be called some brand kanang i-combine na nimo. The existing brand that gives birth to a brand extension or sub-brand is the parent brand. If the parent brand is already associated with multiple products through brand extension, it can also be called a master brand or the family brand. Next kay brand extensions. So, brand extension can be classified as kining line extension o ang category extension. So, line extension, di ba? When the parent brand is used to brand a new product that targets a new market segment within the same product category. So, nakita na to diyang example kay Coca-Cola. Na sila new product pero same category, soft drink, ragyapon siya, wala kalahian. Karon gani ang Coca-Cola kay nanasad sila bag-o bitaw nga kanang soft drink gyapon, bag-o nga product katong gitawag og Royal Lemon. I don't know kung nakatilaw na mo ang tanan, basta kay yung color kay mura siya green nga na siya lemon nga na royal working ana basta. Tas next is category extension, when a parent brand used to enter a different product category. So example diya kay Doritos, ang nasa first pick kay palaman ba na siya or something sausawan unsa ba. Dayon naghimo sila another category na po dayon nga junk foods, pero Doritos gyapon ang ngalan. A brand line consists of all products original as well as category extensions sold under a particular brand. So example aning brand line kay coffee manufacturer, unya nag-add sila decaffeinated coffee pero same brand sa ilahang coffee products na lang sila bitawi ka ng example kay regular coffee and instant coffee ingana. A brand mix is the set of all brand lines that a particular seller makes. May example na ko ani kay kanang ang P&G bitaw Procter and Gamble, in which kanang lahi-lahi bitaw ilahang mga line extension, lahi ang skincare, personal care, etc. A licensed product is one whose brand name has been licensed to other manufacturers that actually make the products. Next is branding decisions. Branding decisions, then na siya alternative branding strategies. So, first kay alternative branding strategies. Branding is such a strong force that hardly anything goes unbranded, assuming a firm decides to brand its product or services. It must choose which brand name to use. So, mo din ni siyang naitulo. First, individual or separate family brand names. A branding strategy in which products are given brand names that are newly created and generally not connected to the names of the existing brand affected by the company. Sunod, corporate umbrella or company brand name is a marketing practice involving the use of a single brand name for the sale of two or more related products, mainly used by companies with a positive brand equity. The next, ang ikatulo kay sub-brand name, when a main product creates a subsidiary or secondary brand. New brand attributes are distinct yet related to the main brand. Example, ani kay ang Toyota, pero na sila sub-brand name nga Hilux, Prius, etc. pero related ra gyapon sa Toyota. Then, house of brands versus a branded house. The use of individual or separate family brand names has been referred to as the house of brand strategy, whereas the use of umbrella corporate or company, the brand name is a branded house. So, kung gamito nimo ang individual or separate family brand, mao na siya ang house of brands. But if gamito nimo ang umbrella, katong corporate or company brand name, mao na siya ang branded house. Next is brand portfolio. Brand portfolio is a set of all brand and brand lines a particular firm offers for sale in a particular category or market segment. Building a good brand portfolio requires careful thinking and creative execution. So, ang brand portfolio is the set of all brands in a company. Product defining roles, portfolio roles, brand scope. Example, ani kay Nestle. So, nara ang Nestle ay. Ay, wala din ako na-appeal ay. So, ang Nestle kay kining kuan, nakalahi ang kanang brand sa mga ice cream, coffee, juice, and etc. etc. So, brand extensions, na din siya advantages o disadvantages. Advantages, improve odds of success, positive consumer expectation, retailer support, leverage current brand awareness, reduce cost of the launch campaign, feedback benefits. Ang yada yung disadvantages sa brand extension kay brand dilution, di ba? Mawala jud kay mo siya gakawala kay kuan. Nag-extend man ka gakawala tundaan. Risk to the brand integrity, risk of harm to parent brand, cannibalization, lost opportunity to create a new brand.